What's up? Welcome back, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about a 360 AIO, but one with a unique feature. And then when we're done, testing it and going through it, we're going to mount it in a unique way. Obviously, the AIO, which I'm referring to, is the Aorus Liquid Cooler 360, right here. This guy. As the name alludes, this is a 360 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler. The radiator is made of aluminum. It has dimensions of 394 long by 120 wide by 27 millimeters deep. The CPU block is made of copper, and the overall dimensions on that are 80 by 80, and then it's about 60 millimeters tall. Like others, the CPU block, or this cooler, is compatible with almost all normal mainstream CPU socket types. The cooler ships with 3 RGB fans with a max speed of 2,500 RPMs and a reported noise level on those fans of 18 to 39.5 decibels. And really, up to this point, everything sounds pretty standard. Things you kind of would have come to expect from a solid, well-built AIO. But one thing this cooler has that, well, a lot don't, or most, I guess, most don't, is a TV. Yeah, right there. So the pump on this AIO has a 60 by 60 millimeter LCD screen, which is pretty cool. Now the screen does come with some preset modes. It also has a custom mode. We're gonna take a look at all of them because I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So we'll look at that when we get everything hooked up. We'll look at all the modes it offers, all the displays it offers, and we'll see what we can put in there ourselves. But we'll worry about that in a minute. But in the meantime, some useful things about the LCD screen is that it supports BMP images only, and the image width must be under 820 pixels. The Aorus software, or the Aorus engine, will auto-adjust the images to about 320 by 320 resolution, so just know that. For text, though, it only supports English, letters and numbers, so bummer if you don't speak English, I guess, but I guess you could do images of other languages, but anyway, we'll get into that later. But first thing about this cooler is look at how nicely it's packaged. I thought this was pretty good. Look at that. Isn't that nice? You got your 3 fans, you got your cooler. Everything is well packaged, so there's no worries of damage. I know some stuff, especially the stuff I've ordered off of Wish, came in just a bag. So literally they would just send it in like this bag. Maybe another layer of bags, but this is pretty good. Pretty good packaging. But anyway, let's get this out of the box, get it hooked up, see how it performs. Now I'm gonna run it in the system that you guys all hate, my test bench with my 2500K. I am working on getting, let's say, a more updated test bench for you guys, but for now, this is what we're gonna have to use. So we're gonna run it on that system. I have already ran that system on the NHD15, which is just an air cooler, high-end air cooler we're gonna compare it to. And I also have a Kraken X62 that I ran on it last night to just compare it as well. So I ran the air cooler and the water cooler, or the AIO, for an hour, just to make sure the whole loop of the water got thermally cycled, everything was nice and heat soaked to give us the best results. So I ran the air cooler with for an hour. That's unnecessary for an air cooler, but I did run the water cooler, the Kraken X62, twice for an hour total. And then we're gonna do the same with this guy. So we'll get this thing hooked up in the said system, see how it does. Hurting. So here's the system you guys all hate. So actually, if you think you know what I should update this to be a good, like, all-around test bench, something you can throw graphics cards in, not worry about a huge bottleneck for your CPU, nice thermal test bed as well. I'm thinking about actually maybe taking out my 7700 and motherboard, throwing it in here, updating that CPU. It makes more sense. But let me know what you guys would do for an update to the system, and maybe we'll do it. But for now, let's get everything taken apart. Also, fun fact, this GPU in here, the 580 if you remember, doesn't even work anymore. So if you remember my my 1080 that I had, remember when I made that video about the GPU shroud, and I French fried it? I shorted it out because I touched the RP. Well, I basically was being stupid with the RGB header. Well, my awesomeness continued with this one. Get out of there. On this guy. So this thing doesn't have a backplate because it was invented before backplates were, evidently. But when I was making the video where I was fan stacking, I touched something back here with a metal fan clip, and well, this doesn't work anymore either, so we're not even going to put it back in. It wasn't running when I was testing the system because basically you plug it in now, it just full on, full speed, no display. So this is just going to go beside my 1080, and they're just going to be display pieces. Because the 1080, I was going to RMA it, but I can't find the stock fans to replace the ones I painted, so I can't send it back. So if you got any 1080 EVGA for the Win 2, I think that thing says. If you got any fans for it and you wanna hook me up or sell them to me, let me know, because it'd be nice to fix it. But anyway, okay, nobody look. Nobody look at my cable management. Ah! It's not that bad. There's really not much back there. The Sport 2500K has seen more thermal compound than anything in the world. So surprisingly, this thing is really close to the NZXT Kraken X62, so at least it's easy to put together. So I don't know about you guys, but I think the smartest thing when considering updating this test bed would be to definitely replace the CPU in my, my actual computer over there. Take that board and that 7700K and put it in this one. Question is, which CPU do I put in my regular computer? Now, obviously, it's going to be AMD, given how good AMD is right now, but do you go 3950X? Is there any benefit to doing maybe a Threadripper? Or do you do just like a 3800X or a 3900X? What would you, I need you guys' input. What would you do? Also, I cannot screw this in and talk at the same time. Oh yeah. Look at my just one little naked RAM stick. All the other slots don't work. Basically, if you have more than one stick populated in this board right now, it won't boot because, well, it's old and it's given up. I've touched too many metal items to too many bare metal leads. It can't take it. It served me well though. Remember when I got this thing in like 2011? It was like top of the line. I mean, we had the 580 in there. The RAM obviously had its blue Corsair heat sinks. Had some awesome LED lights in it. This was before RGB, but it was sweet. And then now, well, it's been a little rough on her. This pump's not even on. I do like how it looks. I don't know. Let's see what the screen looks like when it's on, but it makes sense. I'm a big fan of the Kraken. Obviously, I bought it. This has very similar mounting to the Kraken. It's got a good shape to it. It's basically a better version of the Kraken because the Kraken doesn't have RGB nor a TV screen. So let's see how she looks. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So yes, it's quite obvious that a 360 millimeter radiator does not fit into the Kraken, or not the Kraken, that doesn't fit into the S340 Elite, which is like a big problem with most. So, I've never had a 360 AIO, I've always wanted one, but most of the cases I have, obviously, they don't fit. I mean, they will fit back there in the Antec case I have, but a lot of cases you can go 240, maybe 280. But there's a benefit to having a bigger 360. It's got a lot more thermal mass to it. You can soak up a lot more heat before you need to ramp your fans up. So what is one to do if you have a case that can't fit one? Well, you make something. So a lot of you guys have already seen this on my community tab. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. You can look at my community tab for weird things that I post and try to guess what they are. But essentially, what this ends up being, now it's two colors because I ran low on black. So actually, it's because it looks sick. So this thing goes together here. We're gonna fasten it all together here in a little bit, like so. The radiator sits in this slot. I had some modifications to make because my tubing was in the way, but my radiator sits here, and on the back side, where my fans go. On the back side, I have a cutout for. I guess you guys can't see it. Here's the backside. So the backside has these cutouts for some low profile fans. So I have the slim Kaze 120s from Scythe. These are also RGB, so added bonus. And basically I'm gonna put 3 of them there. to kind of pull air out. The radiator is going to be on this side, basically pulling air in. And this is going on the top of this case. Like that. So it's going to mount on the top of the case. I don't even know if you can see it because it's quite tall. It makes more sense when the front panel's on here. But it goes on top like so. So I can mount the 360 radiator on top of the case. Now I put the basically the other fans in there because your case normally exhausts out the top, and I just don't want hot air trying to go against my air being pulled in. So I'm gonna have the fans sucking air out, case is blowing air out, we're blowing air in, so we're kind of trying to make some sort of a cycle deal here, but we're gonna see how it works. Now like I said, I ran the Kraken X62 twice. I ran it in the case like you would normally run it with the panel on, front panel on, ran it for an hour, took the temperatures down, and then since I'm going to initially run this outside the case because it doesn't fit, I also ran that Kraken X62 with no front panel, no side panel, so they didn't have any air restrictions because let's be honest, the S340 Elite's pretty restrictive for front airflow. And I took the numbers of both those 1 hour runs. So we'll be able to compare this thing to open air running, and then how we'll run it again for another hour with it mounted on top and see if there's any difference to the temperatures. And we'll see how it looks. It's gonna be a lot of RGB, which is sweet. And again, given how well this works, actually, regardless if it doesn't work, I'll put this on my Thingiverse account so you guys can download it. Before I upload it, I'll give you a little bit more room back here for cable pass-through or your little tubing pass-through. I'll put it on my Thingiverse account so you can download it, run it. So I printed 2 pieces. On my printer, this took about like 30 hours each. Took a while. So you're in it for the long haul. But let's get this set up, run it, and then we'll come back to this. All right, let's just see what it looks like. The rainbow explosion, I'm sure, or maybe it won't even do anything because I have to get the. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. I don't think the screen will come on because I got no software or anything running, but the fans default to a rainbow. Man, those are pretty nice. I'm a big fan. So while that runs, we're gonna get this put together. So like I said, I had to print it in 2 pieces because my printer is only so big. So what I did is it's a originally it's a 5 millimeter thick wall, and then at the top I did about 10 millimeters. I have basically an inset where, this side can slide directly into the other side. And to hold it together, I think we're gonna just try hot glue. I know some people said you could use super glue and whatnot, but I have this just sitting up here, and I think it'll work just fine. So let's see how it does. Well, it was a little weird. So while testing this guy on that old PC over there, I had the weirdest thing ever. So everything worked. I could download the software from the Aorus software, the RGB software. I could control the fans, control their colors, their speeds. I could control the pump. I could see the temperature. I could see its speeds. But I couldn't get the screen to work, and it was the weirdest thing ever. I had power because everything was running and RGB in, but the screen would not work, and I was like, what? And initially I thought maybe I got like unlucky and I got one that didn't work, but then I was thinking, what's the chances that, I got sent an AIO that had a bad screen, or what's the chances that my dinosaur of a PC has like a bad USB plug or something? So I took this, hooked it up to my normal everyday computer, and everything works fine. So we can still use it for testing because it functions fine on that PC, but we'll have to hook it up to that guy when we want to see the screen, so it's going to be a little awkward. But we're gonna make it work. I guess it's more of a reason to upgrade that PC. But anyway, let's get this all put together. So I have this now glued. Get this power supply out of the way now. essentially, this is gonna go like so. Lock this guy in here. Boom. Now, we want that in there, which is gonna pose us a problem. So I was just gonna take a Dremel to this case because I'm impatient, but I think I've come up with the smartest idea in the world. So essentially I'm gonna take this out. Don't have an IO shield because I lost it. Anyway, I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna slide the radiator through there, and in theory, it'll work. So now if my estimates are correct, oh yeah, slides right through. Now if it reaches once it's through, that's a different story, but for now, we're looking like we're in business. Perfect. So it actually worked out really well. So the only problem though is this is essentially 180 off of where you would normally mount it. Now the software does have a function in there that you can, if you don't have, your tubing on the side it's supposed to normally towards your RAM, if you have it up or down, you can rotate the screen so it displays right, but I didn't see anything where you could rotate it a full, 180 to mount it completely backwards. So obviously not everybody's gonna be doing something like this, but maybe that's a function they could throw in there later on to make you be able to put it in literally any orientation you want. But that's awesome, fits on there. So now I'm gonna get all the fans on there, the case sealed back up. We'll take a look at it and then we're gonna see how well it does. All right, let's take a look at the screen real quick because it's pretty cool. So you're gonna need two pieces of software to run it. You're gonna need two utilities that you can get from Aorus's site here, the Aorus engine and the RGB Fusion, or you can just download the engine, and then after you get that download, just click this LED button and you can download the RGB software, either or. But so right now I have this screen set on Enthusiast 1, and you can see that right now it's showing you the CPU model, and since it's hooked up to my other PC, it's showing the 7700K, and it's showing its temp, but you can also switch it to show the current gigahertz that you're running as well. Enthusiast mode 2 is kind of the same, looks a little different. You can set the colors. I mean, you can set the colors on the first one, but now you have two colors to choose from. And obviously, if you want to change your fan colors, you go down here and change those, but we're just worried about the screen right now. And same two features, you can turn them all off. You can have your model name, CPU temperature, or the clock speed. And then you got the third, which is a larger Aorus symbol. Again, color changing, whatever colors you so choose. Same three exact options for that one as well. And then we just go to function mode. So function mode doesn't really, I mean, you still have a color ring you can set. So we'll do green, but you got a lot more options over here for what you want to display about your CPU. So you can do none, or you can literally select all of them, turn them all on. Which is actually pretty cool. We're going to skip the image for now, and then we're just going to go custom text, because it's pretty easy to set your text. So you just literally write what you want into this screen and hit confirm. And as long as you're set on the text mode, so text mode 1 is 2 colors, pops up. So you want to change it. Confirm. You can have large text or small text. So it does appear that there is a character limit. So large text looks like there's a 35 character limit, and then if you're small text, you can have about 80 characters. So just know that you can't write a novel on this thing. So we just show you what small text looks like. And then a text mode 2 is pretty much the same, just a single color to whatever you want it to be. And then, so the image thing is pretty cool. So like I said, you have to use a BMP image, and you basically just hit browse. You go to the folder that it's in. You make sure it's a BMP image that's 320 by 320 is what it recommends. And you just select it, and it uploads. And when you click on it, you can have you can make your cooler a meme. Which is so weird. I don't understand this cat. But in that's, you know, to me that's pretty cool. You can literally do whatever you want with this thing. The picture thing's pretty funny. I think it's really cool because the resolution, the screen is only 60 by 60, so it's a 60 millimeter circle. So the resolution, although it's not super high, you know, it's not going to be like your cell phone screen. It's not so low that you just see pixels everywhere. It actually looks pretty darn good, and I think it's pretty funny that you can set basically whatever image you want off the interwebs and just throw it on there like this cat. I think it's safe to say that turned out actually a lot better than I thought it would. It works, well, it looks halfway decent, but when we look at the numbers, it's even more impressive. So if we look at how everything did, the NHD15, the Kraken X62, the Aorus 360, the 360 did perform the best in open air and configured, I guess you'd say. It is a bit loud when it's set up like this. That's basically because there's, you know, 6 fans all pointing into a hollow tube, but the thing's not too loud when it's just running by itself for sure. But what's even more impressive is that when you look at just considering the delta on how well everything did, you can see that the Aorus did do the best, but when we added this bracket, it actually did slightly better. Now, it could be, you know, just, you know, it could just be the air of the test, or we are kind of running like a push-pull, so we have air getting pushed in from the outside and also being pulled out the back by those Kaze 120 fans. But either way, I think this proves that you can make a 360 fit just about anywhere. Also, the seam that I kind of put together for connecting these two pieces worked out really well, and I think moving forward, if we ever try to build or print our own case, I think we found a way to do it. But either way, if you're looking for a nice 360 AIO, it does come in a 240 or a smaller size, so pick one of those up if you don't want to do something like this. But either way, I know you can't see the screen because it's not on, but when the screen is on, this thing looks pretty cool. And take a good look at the old PC because I think it's about as far as it can go. We got DIMM slots down. That graphics card's broken. The USB ports aren't really working. I think it's time to just put her down. Let me know what you guys would do. What CPU should I consider getting? What motherboard? What system? I also have to buy a graphics card, I guess, for this guy. So let me know what you guys are doing in the comments down below. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this video. If you like stuff like this, make sure to subscribe because plenty more to come. See ya.